Hey all, I'm Arthur, big and tall white guy with way too much red hair and identify as neurodiverse. I've been playing Factorio for over 1,000 hours and realized I've never really contributed to the meta. I also realized I never used blueprints before. So what I decided to do, I had watched Dash's video about making like a sushi only belt, or a sushi only base I should say, and he had a lot of trouble with that, right? He had an issue with how finicky it was. If he made one small mistake, it ended up, going awry. And so I figured, well, you know what? Maybe I can make something like that. And so this is my attempt. So I took my base. I've been playing space exploration with Krastorio 2 and the BZ Ores mod. And I got all the way to completing the first level of space science, if you're familiar with those mods. And I was getting kind of bored, so I was like, well, let me try making the sushi base concept. So I took my existing base, which I'm looking through here, and kind of cannibalized it and made it so its single purpose is to kind of build out this new base I'm making. And then I've got two different circuit networks handing each other off so that, as I need to send supplies to the new base, then I can do so without, mixing up the circuits. So anyway, here it is in all its glory, the Sushi River. It's 16 belts wide. I've been using blue belts and undergrounds and everything like that. As you can see, it's grouped into what I'm calling like factory sections, or they're mostly based on blueprints, and then I just kind of filter the whatever recipe I'm looking to throw on the belt. And each one has an independent logic circuit or two that's connected to kind of this bigger thing that I'm calling a counter, which is taking a sample periodically through the belt as to how many items are on the belt and what items are on the belt. The only thing being fed in here is raw ore. So as you can see, that's about, I think it adds up to like almost 600 item slots from all of those belts with the readers on them that are being scanned and fed into this. So the ores I have restricted, so like if the belt's too full, which right now I'm interpreting as 300 or more items out of that 600, then it stops it short. There's also making sure I don't have too much of this type of ore, which was wolframite, or too much of its refined version of it, so I'm not flooding the belt with a whole bunch of raw materials without getting enough room for everything else to be made. And then everything is kind of based off that general principle. Each of these little sections has a similar logic circuit. If they add more items to the belt than they take off, it also checks to make sure that there's not too much on the belt. Checks how many of a particular item is there, so I don't just end up with 5 million iron plates. And I kind of made up the sample sizes. I'm very sure I can look up what the actual number should be for what I'm making, but screw that. I love the chaos. And then I just started plopping things down as I need them. Really the only logic rule I made sure is if it's closer to the counter, like the little reader, if I'm saying, hey, I want to make sure there's at least 20, iron plates on the belt, I can't have something eating or adding iron after that count, right? Because otherwise it's not going to match up right. And so it's kind of in order of like everything that's being made before the line of itself isn't an item that is too much to be added to it. And then I just started plopping things down as I needed it. Right now the only thing this is doing is building itself. So it's making like the splitters and the inserters, the belts, the underground belts. It's making the logic circuits. I don't think it's really making anything else right now. That first expansion slot, which you can kind of see the echo of there, I'm going to be building out, making the the actual buildings, the power station or the power substations or whatever, and then start building out things I need to actually play the freaking game. So like science and feeding a rocket and all that fun stuff. So this is my favorite part. I don't know, I left this whole section blank because I was impatient. I wanted to get it running. And I can't really tear a section out and put it in because it'll delay the belt so long that it'll get all clogged up. So I just think I'll just always have this nice little pleasant zen area. And so that's a build. I'm going to keep hacking away at this thing. Really excited to get this finished enough where I'm able to send rockets again, and then I'm going to get the orbital research station built the same way, and so that'll be its own challenge. And then from there I'm going to go to the Vulcanite planet that I've completely abandoned at this point and do the same thing there and just see how crazy this gets. I don't know just how how inefficient this is. I can't imagine it's anything but it's cool, and it actually works. Like, it's cool to go through and see that things are actually being made, and it may take several more hours for it to kind of load the belt up with enough materials to be making things at any kind of capacity, but it's constantly running while I'm running around doing other stuff. So we'll see what it turns into. Anyway, thanks for watching.